Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and it's Women's History Month, and I'm here today to talk to you about Pitch Perfect, the 2012 sleeper hit chick flick movie. I can't believe this movie came out 13 years ago because I'm recording it now a week before Christmas 2024, but I'm not putting this out until like around March of 2025. So it's been 13 years since this movie came out. I can't believe it's been that long. Like, my God, time has really flown by. I remember I saw this in the movie theaters back in the day and stuff. And you can actually watch it on Peacock. Peacock is odd. They secured the rights for the first and the third movie, but as of the recording of this video, not the second for some bizarre reason. So after I'm recording this, I'm gonna go watch the third because I've always been curious because I've never seen the second or the third. But the third, from what I heard, is the worst of them all. I mean, Ruby Rose in that, so it's gonna be bad. But like, yeah, this was like a sleeper hit from back in the day, and yeah, because it was 13 years ago. As funny sometimes as this movie can get, it has not aged well. You wouldn't hear most of the jokes that you hear in this movie, and some of the things they do. Like, okay, this movie. 'Cause here's the thing about this movie, right? When I saw this in theaters, I left the movie theater with a unusual taste in my mouth. Not a bad taste, but just unusual. It's like, while it was a cute little movie, I didn't find it particularly all that funny. But I love the music. A friend of mine didn't like the music at all, but she liked the movie. I've just now watched this movie 12 years later, and I still to this day don't think every joke lands. Like, it doesn't. But some of them are pretty actual funny and everything. Like, it takes me a while. Like, the second half of the movie, that's when I start to warm up to the movie because a lot of the jokes start to get a bit better. However, this movie is just like cringy at times. Like, the dialogue and the jokes feel so forced and everything. It's like they just randomly say the most random thing or do the most random thing, and they expect you to think it's funny, but it just comes off as kind of desperate and everything. Like, it's that desperate type of humor, very similar to that of The Sex Lives of College Girls, which came out 10 years after this movie. And so, like, which would technically be 11 because I'm posting this in 2025, but you know what I'm saying. And so, like, if I do a review on the third movie, if I'll probably put that out like now, because most likely I'm probably not gonna like it. Who knows? Anyway, but like, some of the jokes land and some of them just don't. Like, it's just like they say and do such random things and they expect you to laugh. But honestly, it just was never funny. Like, they either didn't let the joke marinate, they didn't give it time to breathe, or the person delivering the line just wasn't funny and stuff. So, it is what it is. You know, I remember the reason why I wanted to watch this movie. I didn't know who nobody in this movie was except for like, um, what's her name? Elizabeth Banks. And the dude who, like, does like her co-anchoring stuff, like commentary, Joe Michael Higgins. I've seen that dude in so much stuff. And so, I've seen Elizabeth in a couple of stuff, so I knew who they were. And Elizabeth Banks actually produced this movie. She produced all the other ones, and like, she directed the second one only. And so, like, going into this, I got introduced to like a bunch of new stars and everything who I keep seeing appear on and off in other projects. Rebel Wilson is probably the biggest name to come from this because her celebrity just like exploded after this. Like, she had her own television show after this thing, but it got canceled after one season. You can't even find it on streaming. Then, like, she did movie after movie, and one of the things that's keeping her in the spotlight now is all of like the drama that surrounds her. Like, like that one person who lied and said that she's much older than what she is, and her suing like a newspaper company, and like her coming out as like a lesbian, and her losing all that weight, and how she wanted to lose weight for this movie but they wouldn't let her, and like then that Sasha Baron Cohen thing, and that she said that like that whole Me Too thing between him and everything. And so it's like she's always been kept in the spotlight. And even though other people in this, like, this franchise have gone on to do other stuff, it's mostly her name, the one you mainly hear. But other ones have had good success too. But, it's funny because people in this movie, a lot of them was successful before this and became pretty successful afterwards. And some people's careers kind of slowed down once that third movie, like, didn't do so well. But yeah, some of the jokes, like, they just haven't aged well and stuff. Like, I got off topic. Like, two of my favorite scenes is the riff off and also the shower scene. The shower scene is funny to me because of how awkward and uncomfortable it is. It's just like Anna Kendrick's character is just there, and she's like, persuaded by Brittany Snow's character. And Brittany Snow's character is like all chalant, like, oh yeah, this is just like natural, this is normal, this is what I do. Like, I'm naked and I come in other people's showers and just talks to them and stuff like that. It's just kind of like, what the world, man? Then her boyfriend comes in and is all like, yo, what's up? It's just kind of like, what? Now that's probably the biggest thing that has not aged well, but it's so awkward and so like unrealistic, and it's just like I can't help but to laugh. But like when it comes to the music in this movie, oh my god, I love it so much. Before the movie came out, like I saw the trailer, and somebody actually put the soundtrack out on YouTube before the movie came out. So I was listening to it like constantly, just jamming to it. So when I heard it in the movie, I'm like, yeah, I'm hearing the music I've been listening to like every night and stuff like that. But then the commentators talk during the music scene. I'm like, oh, shut up already, man. Like, y'all talk too much and stuff. And like I said before, it's just like the commentators and other people, they just talk and they talk, and it's so much rambling in this movie, and things just don't come off as funny, and it's just kind of like I don't get it. But it's like, this is a chick flick of that era. I remember like, because I love chick flick movies, from the late 90s, early 2000s. That's my jam, you know what I'm saying? Like, movies like, you can tell this borrowed from a lot of movies like Clueless, especially Bring It On, um, Sugar and Spice, Mean Girls and stuff like that, Legally Blonde, like, it's like movies like that. You can tell they put, oh, also, even though it's not a chick flick, American Pie. Like, you can tell they were starting to like pull from inspiration from those older classic movies that I grew up with as a teenager and young adult in college and stuff. And I remember when I saw this movie, I think, okay, wow, a new generation of like chick flicks for people and stuff, and it just didn't hit for me that well. But I can see I can see why it appealed to so many people at that time, because they didn't have theatrical chick flick movies at that time. They was mostly direct to DVDs or streaming and stuff, and so I do see the broad appeal. And you know what's crazy? This is the only chick flick like I can't talk right now. It's cold. My lips are sticking together. This is the only chick flick like franchise that have like a trilogy theatrically and everything. and their own spin-off television show. Every other chick flick, like, franchise has gone the direct to DVD and now direct to streaming route. Bringing on all of their sequels direct to DVD, and that one horror one is on streaming, which I've never seen. I've never seen none of the sequels to Bring It On. Bring It On is still a classic, and I will always love that first one. But I've never, and I never will see the other ones. I am kind of curious, but not that curious. Mean Girls the same way. Second movie came out on TV. The third movie, which was a reboot, was a musical, and like theaters and stuff. It was supposed to be a streaming movie. But this is the only one to have like, all theatrical releases. And then they came out with that bumper television show on Peacock, which lasted only one season. They said it got canceled because of the writer and actor strike. So I've never seen it. I don't want to see it. I don't like Bumper. He gets on my nerves in the first movie. I don't know what he's like in the other movies, but like I hated that character so much in this movie. But when I say this was a sleeper hit, I mean this was a sleeper hit. Like it had like a budget of 17 million and it made like 115 million at the box office. And all together, their theatrical run for all three movies had probably accumulated to $700 million and stuff. And like, I know you think, oh, that's not too big, because you can probably make $1 billion in like just one movie. But you gotta remember, this is like a musical chick flick. So, and the budget kept increasing with each movie. It increased probably about 10 to 15 million the next movie, and it made about 200 something million. And then they increased about like another like 20 million or so in the third movie. But it didn't make that much money. The third movie made far less than the second movie, but a bit more than the first. And from what critics say, by the time you get to the third movie, the formula has already died out. Like they've seen it before, and the third one doesn't add anything new to the mix. You know what I'm saying? It's still that crude humor. It's still that awkward humor, and it's just them singing. And when it comes to the music, like I said, I've never seen the second and third movie, but I've listened to the music. The second movie has some really good musical numbers. The third one, I don't like none of the songs in the third one. I mean, none of them. Like, I wouldn't even listen to them twice and everything. They're just that bad and everything. Now, by the second movie, they introduced Haley Steinfeld's character. And she's there for the second and the third. And that's kind of what launched her music career. Even though she does music, she mostly still does movies and stuff. I really want to see that second one. I'm hoping is better than like the first. I'm scared to watch the third. I'm not even joking. I'm scared to watch the third. Oh, Ruby Rose is in that. And I'm not a fan of Ruby Rose. I'm sorry, but she can't act. But anyway. But like that third movie did kind of like, slow down the acting roles of like all of the stars in this movie. Because Anna Kendrick, like she's the main character of the movie, of the franchise. And it's like, before Pitch Perfect, she was in tons of movies, but you didn't really know who she was. Like, Pitch Perfect is what made her a breakout star. But then after that third one, her role started to slow down. She started being in box office bombs, and she's now starting to executive produce the stuff she's in so she can get more of that money and have some sway of how the projects go. And she was in some television show that lasted for a good while. So her career is starting to kind of like slow down as a result. And it's funny because like that Cup song she did, they actually made a music video out of that. Out of all the songs in the movie, why that one? I don't get it. I used to like that Cup song until I got tinnitus, so now I don't like it. I mean, it's an okay, cute little song, but I don't think it should have had its own music video. I think the performance at the end of the first movie that should have had like a music like video type thing, and then combine it with like the guys and stuff. I do know that Anna, she didn't want to pre-record none of her own music. She wanted to sing live on set, which most people do in musicals. You know what I'm saying? And so, but like I said before, this movie helped launch the careers of so many people. Like, I first saw Rebel Wilson in the Ghost Rider movie. She was that person in the jail cell. That no, not jail cell, but she was that goth girl. And like, the first movie she had like a cameo, and I didn't even know who she was, and I just didn't care. I didn't even care for that movie. But this movie made me fall in love with her, man. Like, I love myself some Rebel Wilson. And so, like, of course, she had that show, Super Fun Night, which was not that great. It was all right, but it was all over the place in terms of writing. And I knew it was gonna get axed. It was one of those mid-summer replacement type things, and they kept doing additional like episodes. I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna get canceled, and the writing's all over the wall, and so yeah, it got canceled. And she had an American accent for that movie, which doesn't make no sense because she's Australian. So a lot of people did not like that. But she came back for like the next two movies and stuff like that, and she done a bunch of other movies and stuff. And this Brittany Snow who was in that terrible prom night movie. And since then she's been in other stuff like the movie X. But it's kind of like people mostly remember her for this because they kind of want to forget that she was in Prom Night, the remake. And she was in this show called Almost Family, which was a remake of an Australian show, and it got canceled after one season. And her career's kind of been like just like mid-level. Like she appears in this and that. No other breakout role since. Anna Camp, she became a breakout star because of this, but like she was mostly relegated like television. She was in some. It was like a CW show. It was like a Teen Wolf or the Vampire Diaries or the original. It was something she was in, and she was just now in Hysteria. I like that show on Peacock, but I don't think it's gonna get a second season. But she was really good in that, and now she's gonna be in Scream 7. And like for the other stars, like in the first movie, like Adam Devine, he always appears in like this and that, and he got his own spin-off show. But like I said, it got canceled. And as for the other stars, they mostly just kind of like appear here and there and some other stuff, but nothing really major. You know what I'm saying? The one dude, um, I had the hardest time saying this dude's name. My God, oh God, I'm gonna butcher this dude's name. I just know. Um, Yuta Karsh but Car. I can't believe this is the dude from Ghost. Like, there's a television show on CBS called Ghost, and I can't believe that's him. The beatboxer dude, the Indian dude from this movie. He was also Boomy in the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender show on Netflix. I can't believe that's him. Like, it's just insane. Like, I can't believe it's him. And so, like, Jason Moore, he's the one who directed this movie. And Kay Cannon, she's the one who, like, wrote all three movies. And this is actually based on a nonfiction book called what is it? The Quest for Collegiate A Caparella Glory. And so like the whole like ICCA, they're like, the what is it, like International Collegiate Caparella Acapella, whatever it's called. When I say caparella for acapella, Lord, I can't talk right now. I can't talk. Like, that's actually a real thing, and I never knew that. This is so like Glee, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's another thing. This is kind of like based off the television show Glee, and so When I was in college, my department was next to like the music department. They was boring. You never heard nothing come from them other than like instruments and stuff. And it's just kind of like, I wish to God they could have been this gleeful in my college. That would have been so fun just to hear them riff and everything and sing and all this other stuff and compete with each other. That would have been so cool, man. My college was so boring. But like, yeah, this really reminds me of Bring It On in so many ways. There's so many like cliche tropes in this like movie and stuff like that, and and it's just like I understand the appeal of these movies. I really do because like like I said before, those classic chick flick movies. Once they came, they left with like direct to DVD spin-offs or like sequels, and it just never was the same, you know what I'm saying? But at least with this like franchise, people got the CDs in theater and stuff. And they're still on DVD. It's mostly the trilogy pack. They're individual packs, they're double packs, but the trilogy thing is probably the best way to go if you're like a fan of all these movies because it's pretty cheap now. Like my God, 13 years ago, man. It felt like it was just yesterday. And so, like, this movie, of course, is about the Bellas. They're an a cappella group. Capella. What the world was I thinking? Capella. A cappella. They're an a cappella group who love to perform, but they've never made it to, like, the finals and stuff to compete because their leader, one of their co-leaders, she always gets nervous and throws up, and that was so gross and oh my God, that was disgusting. I was not expecting that at all, and it wasn't just regular throw up, it was like gushing out like a geyser and everything. And thankfully in the second one they have her turn her head or body so you can't see her throwing up. But then that nasty part of like the one girl doing like a throw up angel and like like a snow angel and like the throw up, and it's just like ew. Ew. And also, why would she do that for? Like, why would she do a snow angel and throw up? It doesn't make no sense because we don't really know her character that well, and that's one problem with this movie. Some of the characters are very undeveloped and you get to know them very, very quickly. And so, but like I said, there's a lot of tropes, but it rushes through those like very quickly. You don't get that much good character development with some of the like lesser characters. And that's quite a shame. Even in those older classic movies, the lesser known characters, at least their characters was consistent throughout the entirety of the movie. So that's kind of how you knew who they were, and you know what I'm saying? But like here, it's kind of like, okay, they'll set this one character up, like say the black girl, right, who's like a predatory lesbian, and oh, actually she's a little bit different. She's a closeted lesbian, so you don't really know if she is or not. But the rebel character keeps insinuating and making fun of her that she is. Then she becomes a predatory lesbian to where you assume, okay, maybe she is. It would have been funnier if they would have revealed she's not, but then it's revealed she is. But then it's also revealed she has a gambling problem on top of that. And it's kind of like, okay, the lesbian stuff is all throughout the movie, so you assume that. But the gambling thing just kind of came out of nowhere. The way you see her gamble one time, but you don't think nothing big of it. And then she says she has a gambling problem, but you don't actually see her having a problem. Like you don't see her losing or nothing like that. So it's not a perfect movie, despite being called Pitch Perfect, but it's because of like the singing and stuff. It's not a perfect movie in terms of like character development and stuff like that. Like the one girl, there's this one girl in the movie who's part of the Bellas, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, you are in this movie. It's Ryan Phillippe's baby mama, and it's like apparently she has a huge sex problem, but then it's kind of like you don't really get that from her in this movie. Then there is Becca's like roommate, the Asian girl, and it's like her character is so unexplained. It's like odd, and that's one of the things that hasn't aged well. So it's kind of like it's like reverse racism. So instead of the white girl being racist or mean towards like the person of color, it's the person of color being rude and mean to the white girl, but for no reason, and we really don't know her reason for it. So it's like she has this Asian like roommate, and right from the start, her roommate just gives her dirty looks and like won't talk to her at first. And so Becca's character is kind of like, do you even speak English or like what language? Like, am I close? She doesn't know because the girl just keeps staring at her. Then we find out she does speak English, but she's really rude and for no apparent reason and stuff. And so then she'll have her friends over and they play video games. They just stare at like Becca's character in a rude kind of way. And it's like, what is their deal? And then all of a sudden, once it's spring break, all of a sudden her roommate is now nice and wishes her a good spring break. And it's like, wait, hold up. You're mean to her towards the entire movie, but now you're nice all of a sudden? When did this happen? And why are you mean? So the writing is a little wishy-washy when it comes to certain characters. And it's just kind of like, huh? Then there is that one other character, I can't remember her name, the actual Asian girl, in like the Bellas, she's soft spoken, but why is she soft spoken? Is she nervous? Is she shy? Is she awkward? Is she crazy? Like, why is she soft spoken? Like, it's never explained. Then when she finally gets loud, she says she likes to burn down buildings or something like that. And then you see her dancing, like not dancing, but doing like a snow angel and throw up. And it's like, why? But then at the end of the movie, all of a sudden, she can talk loud. And it's kind of like, well, why wasn't she talking loud before? It's never explained. And then later on, it's revealed she's a B-boxer. When was that explained? So it's just kind of like they took all these concepts and everything, threw them in a blender, and just like pureed them out, but with no explanation and stuff. And so, like I said before, the movie's about like these acapella type groups and the music department, and one of them's known as the Bellas. Now, in the acapella stuff, it's normally like unisex, but there's one group of guys who are always winning, and the Bellas is the only solo female group and stuff. With so like they're always competing, but the Bellas can never win. They can never make it to finals. So when they start recruiting new people, and so they start doing like what is it, like tryouts for new members and stuff, and so they recruit a bunch of like awkward type people who are underdogs who you wouldn't necessarily see in a group together, and they're kind of like the big underdogs, which don't make no sense because they're already underdogs. The Bellas are. They can't win. So they already are underdogs, and now they have more underdogs. And so I would have liked it better if the Bellas were like successful and always winning, but then all of a sudden they had to like get these new recruits, and the new recruits aren't like to the level that the two leaders like, you know what I'm saying? But then comes in Anna Kendrick's character, Becca. She is your manic pixie girl and everything to the highest degree. Like she's one of those like, she's one of those like awkward but rebellious types, she's always complaining about this and that, she has like dreams of something bigger. She has like a love interest that like, she's always like just like shoving away or complaining to, or always trying to sound philosophical and everything, and it kind of gets on your nerves and everything. Like she's a very annoying character, but she's like the main protagonist type thing. And it's like, this one dude, like he only has ever been nice to her, but she's always like pushing him away or or like, contradicting him and or blaming him for stuff, even when he's just being nice to her. And she's one of those complex characters who wants to make it big in the music department. And it's like, the problem is you don't see her struggles. Like, why is she the main protagonist? And she is annoying AF. Like, she comes in, her dad is already like a teacher or dean at like the college, and so they always bicker and everything. He wants bigger goals for her, but no, she wants to do the music and stuff like that. She automatically starts working at the radio company, a radio studio at the campus. And so that's like, and, she's already met her love interest in the movie. I forget his name. Um, it's played by, I think his name is it Jesse? I think it is played by Skylar Aston or something like that. And so, Jesse's just like a really nice guy and a really nice guy to her. And she just could care less and everything, but yet she's always hanging out with him and she kind of likes him back. And it's just kind of like she'll give like her demo flash drive to like, the disc jockey dude, and he just kind of throws in the pile with the rest, so you assume he's not gonna listen to it and he's not gonna like it, so you're like, okay, maybe she'll have some struggles in this movie. But no, he listens to it, he likes it, he puts it on the radio. Bigger things are coming her way type thing, but oh no, he wants her to do something like work later at night and play her music, but she has to do like the Bella thing. And you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that's not a real struggle. Like there's no real, like, why should we root for her? Like, you know what I'm saying? So of course, like, she doesn't get along with her roommate, and she doesn't get along with her dad, and she doesn't get along with her love interest. And then Chloe like comes into the shower and persuades her to audition for the Bellas, and she wows them with her cup song. And so she's in the group, but she's kind of like the ambitious kind. Like she's the kind of person who wants to push the boundaries of music and doesn't want to play it safe. So she tries to rap, which, oh my God, she's terrible at it. And so like, and everybody's kind of like, we're not feeling this, but let's just keep riffing and everything. And so it's kind of like, they see the potential of her, but the main girl just doesn't like her, you know what I'm saying? And so when they're playing it safe again, and people are like, oh, here come the Bellas doing the same tired song. And it's so Bring It On. This is like Bring It On for a new generation, man, I'm telling you. So she decides, okay, she's gonna interrupt like the Bella song and start singing a different song. And so it's two songs playing over each other, and it's just kind of like people are liking it, but the group themselves don't like that. So she gets kicked out, and then she joins back again. She starts to be nice to her love interest, and all of a sudden she really really likes him because she realizes that this dude is just really kind and sweet to her, and she's always being rude to him for like no reason. I cannot stand this character I can't stand Becca whatsoever. That's one of the things that put me off on buying this on DVD, which I still have not bought on DVD yet because I'm still on the fence when it comes to this movie, you know what I'm saying? But Skylar's character, Jesse, he's just a really nice guy. He has this roommate who's like really nerdy and pathetic, that kind of trope and everything. And you know, Jesse is like the love interest, but then kind of turns into kind of like a best friend scenario when it comes to Becca, but kind of not. And his favorite movie is like The Breakfast Club, and when she sees that movie, she tears up, and that makes her have this big revelation that, oh, she's like a crappy person and she needs to be better and whatever. Rebel Wilson, she plays Fat Amy. That's what she calls herself because she's all like, it's the deflect from when skinny like girls like talk behind her back and everything. But her real name is Patricia. She has such dry wit humor that is hilarious, but she's the one who says the most like offensive stuff in the entire movie, which people did not like in the second movie. Apparently, there were a lot of people offended by the second movie. Why? because the second movie came out in 2015, I think. And of course, that was the era of like the Me Too era and like cancel culture. And, so a lot of people's all like, oh, we don't like this and we don't like the stuff he's saying because she says like the most offensive stuff. Like she assumes the one girl is like a lesbian and makes fun of her because of that. And then she makes like Jewish jokes and it's just kind of like she's the most offensive person in the entire movie, and she plays kind of like the comedic big girl and everything, and she has like multiple boyfriends she says and everything, and then she lies about like her name and just like all like she's the most like awkward character in the entire movie. I'm pretty sure most of the stuff she says is improv. Adam Devine plays Bumper. I hate Bumper to death. The dude is so rude and nasty to everybody, especially women. Like he's so misogynistic and everything. But then he completely leaves his group towards the end. They have like he got offered the tour with some like famous singer and stuff like that, and so he's gone for the rest of the movie. But then like he has his own spinoff in Berlin, and then it got canceled and stuff. Anna Camp plays Aubrey. And so, like, she's one of the co-leads, but the main lead of the Bellas. She micromanages like a lot. And she's your typical stuck up, like, micromanaged, like, trope character. She gets along very well with Amy only because they make fun of people and stuff. And she likes that appeal. And so she's very nervous when she starts to sing and throws up, which is why they can never compete in like the bigger stuff and stuff. And she hates Becca, just because Becca is trying to like change things and she doesn't like change. And so like she's that tropey type character. Brittany Snow plays Chloe, and she's like the sweet co-leader type person who encourages change and encourages Becca and stuff. And so it's like there's like a really funny scene where after they get through singing, she just looks with a nonchalant look on her face with no expression. She's just like, I have nodes. And so everybody's like, and so Becca has no idea what that means. And so that's like the big thing with her is that she has to have surgery and it's like going to be devastating for her. But she's going to do it for the good of the team. And it causes her voice to like drop. So they needed that for like, a deeper guy sounding voice and stuff like that. Esther Dean plays Cynthia, and she's the actual real singer of like the movie. She's mostly a singer, I think, in the R&B group, but she dabbles a little bit here and there in movies. She plays kind of like this like predatory lesbian type character with a gambling problem. Like you assume she's a lesbian because of her hairstyle, and then like you don't know what she is, and they start making that apparent when like this don't make no sense, right? So Rebel's character, Amy, gets hit with a burrito and she falls down. And so for some reason, Cynthia gives her CPR and tries to put her lips on like Amy's lips, but Amy's like, no, no, I don't do that. And then like when something else happens, she tries to protect this one girl by grabbing her boobs and just in a very predatory kind of way, she's constantly going after this girl. And so it's that predatory trope of like a lesbian, and the LGBT community hates this trope because it's in so many lesbian characters and stuff. Alexa, or Alexis, I forget her last name. I think it's Knapp or something like that. I can't remember her last name. She plays Stacy. She's kind of just there, and apparently she has a high sex drive, which you don't see in the movie, but apparently she has it. There are two more Bellas who don't really get much screen time. I don't really know their names. Apparently one has baloney boobs, whatever that means and stuff. I just best know this actress as being like Ryan Phillippe's baby mama. Oh, that was so sad, man. The date, break up, then realize, oh wait, I'm pregnant. But at least they co-parent and stuff. Anna Mae Lee. So she plays Lily, and for whatever reason, Lily's this awkward, weird girl who doesn't talk loud at all and like bulges her eyes out when she talks. But then all of a sudden, she likes to burn down buildings apparently, and she likes to when she's the one who doing like the snow angels and the vomit, and then all of a sudden in the movie she talks loud, and it's kind of like, but why were you talking soft before? Like it's never explained, never. Ute Karsh and but Carr plays Donald. He first starts off as kind of like your typical like awkward like Indian character, but then it's kind of like suave and cool later on, and he's a beatboxer, and that's all we know. I still can't believe it's the dude from Ghost. I still can't believe it and everything. John Michael Higgins and Elizabeth Banks, they're the two commentators who are just awkward with their slow wit humor, and it's just they talk so much when everybody's performing and everything. It gets on my nerves. But anyways, so the movie, we know that the Bellas, they have an uphill battle trying to make it and everything. They're not in sync with each other. They sing off key, and so it's like, they have to pull themselves together and encourage one another and try different risks and everything with the whole performance at the end. I love the performance at the end, and of course they win. So this movie really is just like a very almost like awkward, like bring it on. That's not well written in my opinion. Like it's a cute, funny movie, but it's like it's not written very well. Like Bring It On is so much more better than this movie, and you can tell it's desperately trying to be Bring It On meets American Pie, and you can tell that the sex lives of college girls is trying to be like Pitch Perfect and everything. And but like I said before, it was a sleeper hit and it made a bunch of money, and it had a bunch of sequels and stuff like that. And you gotta give it up to this movie. It might not be perfect, but it did what it was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, well, I'll talk to you later. Bye.